Hi guys, I'm Aditi Bansal
And I am Anjali Srivastav.
and we are back with our next video. So in this video, we are making use of a fingerprint sensor. So first let's get an idea about the purpose of our project. In this project, we are going to check whether the ID of a person is enrolled or not, and accordingly we'll open or close the door to allow him to enter through it. So Anjali, tell me about the components used and the connections to be made.
Aditi, in this project, the components used are fingerprint sensor. It has 4 pins. First one is for transmission, second one is for reception, third one is for ground, and fourth one is for VCC. My next component is 16x2 LCD display to display the enroll ID, servo motor for opening and closing of door, 100 microfarad capacitor, 9 volt battery for external supply, Arduino Uno, connecting wires, and breadboard. Additionally, other than the components that we required is the SDK software. It's, you can say, is an interfacing application for enrolling our ID. You can download it from the link I have provided you, then go through it and scroll down, you find the demo software. Click here you got the zip file of SDK software and extract it wherever you want. So these are the things which we will need in this project. Now let's move to the connection part. So I have GT-511C1R fingerprint sensor in my hand. As I have discussed, it has 4 terminals. I am connecting the transmission pin with the Arduino pin number 8, reception pin with the Arduino pin number 7, VCC with the 3.3 volt coming out from the Arduino, and ground with the ground of Arduino. So here is my connection for fingerprint sensor. Now I am going to enroll my finger. For that, let me open my Arduino IDE. So here is the code which I am going to upload on my Arduino. Let me explain it first. Firstly, I have included the software serial library to communicate with the SDK software through serial port. On the next line, I have assigned the variable GT serial for the pins 8 and 7, which is connected with the transmission and reception pin of fingerprint sensor. Now in void setup part, I have begun the serial monitor with serial.begin, and on the next line I have begun the GT serial for communicating with the fingerprint sensor. Now by byte Rx is equal to 0, I have assigned the variable Rx byte for storing the received byte, which is initially at 0. Okay, now in void setup, I have taken the 2 conditions. In first condition, I am taking the byte or data from the processing app, or we can say the SDK software, and sending it to the fingerprint sensor. For taking the byte, I have used the serial read, and for sending the data, I have used this write function. Similarly, for taking the byte from the fingerprint sensor, I have used this variable GTSerial.read for taking the data or information from the fingerprint sensor and sending it to the SDK software. Okay, let me compile it to find any error. Okay, it's compiled. That means there is no error. Let me connect my Arduino cable to my Arduino. Now I'm going to upload it. So it's uploaded. Now my next step is to enroll ID. For that I'm using the SDK software. So here is my SDK software. Please remember, you have to open it as an administrator. So I am opening it as run as administrator. Yes. Select the port, which is COM8, baud rate 9600, Open the file on it. Now I am going to enroll my ID. Click on enroll. Put your finger. Take off. Take off again. And yes, my ID has enrolled. It takes thrice to enroll the ID. Or we can say it takes thrice for the confirmation. Now Aditi, will you please enroll your ID?
Yeah, sure.
I am clicking this. Or don't be discouraged if you don't get succeed. Try your hard. Aditi, just a minute, your ID has not enrolled. Try again. Yes, your ID has also enrolled. Okay, we have enrolled our ID. Now let's move to the further connection. Firstly, I am going to connect the LCD on my breadboard. As the connection of LCD I have done on my previous video, so I am not explaining it in the detail. Okay, I have done the connection of LCD. Okay, now I'm going to connect the servo motor on the breadboard. As we are seeing that there is 3 wire, I am connecting the orange one with the pin number 10, red one with the positive part of the breadboard, and brown with the negative one. Okay. Now I am going to connect the 100 microfarad capacitor across the positive and negative terminal of servo motor to reduce the spikes. Now I am connecting these two breadboard by connecting the positive part of the breadboard to the positive part of the other one and negative with the negative part of the other one. Okay. Now I am going to connect the LCD with the 5-volt supply, or we can say 5-volt pin of the Arduino, and negative with the ground of the Arduino. As this 5-volt is not sufficient for running the servo motor and LCD, so I am connecting the 9-volt battery for external supply. So I have done my connection. Now Aditi will explain the further process.
Okay, so Anjali, before moving to the coding part, let's have a look at this flow diagram. In this flow diagram, there are two conditions, whether the finger is pressed or the finger is not pressed. So, in the condition when the finger is pressed, welcome message is printed if the ID is enrolled and the servo motor get attached to it, and otherwise the finger not found message is printed. Or in else condition, that is if the finger is not pressed, please press finger is displayed on the LCD that we have used in our project. So next, let's move to the coding part. So for that, let me open my Arduino IDE. Okay, so let me open the example code from the library that we have included. So this is the example code, and in this code I've additionally included some of the codes to interface my servo motor with my Arduino board. So for that, let me open the document. This is my document, and now let me explain this code to you guys. So in this, firstly I've included the servo motor library to interface my servo motor with Arduino, and similarly I've included liquid crystal library to interface my LCD with Arduino. Now what this FPS GT-511C1R signifies, it is the library for the fingerprint sensor that we have used, and software serial.h signifies that the data is communicated serially between the digital ports of the Arduino board. Now for interfacing liquid crystal with Arduino, I've initialized it as liquid crystal LCD and the pins of Arduino with which the liquid crystal, that is LCD, is attached. That is pin number 12, 11, 5, 4, 3 and 2 respectively. And similarly, I have interfaced my fingerprint sensor with the pins of Arduino, pin number 8 and 7. And similarly, I have initialized servo as my servo. Now in void setup part, I've begin my LCD as it is a 16x2 LCD and I've cleared it. This is to make sure to delete all the predefined values on LCD, and I've begin my serial monitor as its baud rate is 9600 with a delay of 1000. Now I've opened my fingerprint sensor, and if the fingerprint sensor is open, the LED, that is the inbuilt LED of fingerprint sensor, will glow as it's set to the value true. Now servo motor attached to pin number 10, initialized it as my servo.attach to pin number 10. Now in void loop part, there is a loop. So in this loop, I'm checking whether the finger is pressed or not. So if the finger is pressed, the condition follows this, and else if the finger is not pressed, the LCD will print please press finger. Now don't be confused here, as please press is printed on LCD row 1 and the finger will be printed on the row 2. As I've given condition as set cursor 2,1 with a delay of 1000, and in serial print it will display a message called please press finger. Now let me move to the if condition, if the finger is pressed. Now if the finger is pressed and if the ID is less than 200, because the maximum count of number that can be taken into fingerprint sensor is 200, the LCD will print a message as welcome ID and serial monitor will print the message as verified ID if the ID is enrolled. And now what I've done is I've interfaced my servo motor here in this particular code. So since the maximum rotation of servo motor is 180 degree, so it will start from 0 and the maximum count will be 179. So in this code, I've attached and detached my servo motor for the purpose of opening and closing the door. So if the ID is verified, the servo motor will rotate and the door will open, and again it will rotate in anti-clockwise direction and the door will close as the person enters the door. Now in else condition, if the finger is not enrolled, the LCD will print the message as finger not found. So this is all about our code that we have additionally included here. So now I'm going to upload my program. So yeah, it's uploaded. Okay, so now this is my circuit and the LCD is displaying message as please press finger. So let me press my finger. So the LCD is printing as welcome ID 0 and the servo motor starts to rotate for the purpose of opening and closing the door. Now Anjali, will you please enroll your finger?
Yes, Aditi.
Now the LCD prints the value as welcome ID 1 and the servo motor rotates again for the purpose of opening and closing the door. And now let me check for the finger which is not enrolled. So the LCD prints the value as finger not found. So this is our project of fingerprint sensor. Hope you guys enjoyed the project. Stay tuned for more projects like this. Thank you.